I seriously need to tidy up my art studio. I wasn't sure if you could see it on camera, but I've just looked in the viewfinder and yes, you can tell it definitely needs a sort out. But I'm really looking forward to sharing my day with you. So hello if you are new here. My name is Katie. I'm a full-time sketchbook artist, and last week I came back from France, so I did my art retreat, which I shared all about in my previous video. But it does also mean that there is stuff everywhere. I've kind of tidied some up. A lot of things are just in piles around this studio, so I seriously need to sort that out, but I'm going to take you along with me for my day. So I have a few new art books that I want to share with you. If you're new here, I am on an art buy in terms of art supplies, but art books are okay. And I was also very kindly gifted some bits from some of the attendees of my retreat, so some really kind and heartfelt gifts that I want to share with you and say an extra thank you to them for giving me. So I want to show you those. I also bought a few ephemera bits in France, so I'll show you that and maybe I'll do some art with it. I also have a charity postcard to paint, so it's going to be a bit of everything today, a bit of hauling, a bit of tidying, that's first priority, and also art. I have a meeting with Uptrek in an hour and a half, so I also have that, which I won't film, but yeah, there's always a lot to juggle when it comes to being a full-time artist, so it's not always just painting and creating. I have lots to get on with today, so I'm going to stop rambling. Let's sort out this studio, because I always feel like I can't get on with my admin. I have loads of messages to reply to when it's in this state, so I'm going to tackle that first. We'll do a little time lapse and then we'll get into the day. Okay, so let's move on to our haul portion of this video. So I'm going to start with some art books. The first one that I've got here is called The Daily Artist's Way. Now, if you've never heard of The Artist's Way, then it was a kind of self-help creativity program written by Julia Cameron way back in 1992. It's quite a popular thing. It's 12 weeks where you try and connect with your creativity. So a lot of time people who are burnt out or who feel creative and don't know where to start often do it. And I did it a year ago over the summer and I loved it. It was really, really transformative and powerful for me. I did vlog my entire 12 weeks, so I'll leave a link to the playlist up here in the cards and down below in the description because I really loved it. Now, I wasn't feeling burnt out, but I used it to try and enhance my personal creativity and the connection with my work instead of just being, doing it for my job. And it was really helpful. I loved doing the artist dates and the morning pages. Now, the reason why I know it was a year ago is because I just reached week 53 of my morning pages. So I have multiple of books like this just filled with journaling. And morning pages is one of the main sort of pillars of the Artist's Way, where you do 3 pages of long form journaling a day. Now, I found over the year, although I do it daily, I most of the time just do 1 page. And I'm finding that sometimes I'm just sort of going through the motions of it, and I do love it. I find it really, really helpful to organize my mind, but I miss some of the prompts. So I was talking to Mariana, who was on my France retreat, and she was talking about the different books that Julia Cameron did. So she's done many since The Artist's Way, and this is the one I went for. So this is The Daily Artist's Way, and this has prompts and sort of writing tips and things to kind of kick off your journaling every day for the next 366 days. So I think this will be really helpful for me. She will obviously go through the basic tools, but I think it will be really good for me to kind of go through this and work through it. I don't have to do it in order. There are topics here, but I think I'm going to do it in order just to keep things simple. But this is, I think, what I was missing with my daily journaling of it, kind of becoming a bit of a to-do list, really helpful in organising my very messy mind. But I think what I loved about last summer was that it was kind of like therapy for me. It was really helpful in digesting some of my inner thoughts. So I think this will be really helpful. Maybe I won't do it every single day diving into this book, but maybe like 3-4 times a week where I just want some prompts. I think this will be really good for me. So I'm really excited to dive into this. I do get asked often since doing that vlog series if I still do the artist way. And I do the morning pages, but I would like to also do some more artist dates this summer. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll probably do some vlogs of some creative adventures because it's definitely something I want to re-lock into, and this is definitely going to help with the journaling part. Next up is this book called The Art Cure. This is written by Daisy Fancourt, The Science of How the Arts Transform Our Health. This was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction this year. I discovered this from Lena Norm's channel. I love her channel. I really recommend checking that out for ethical and non-art related stuff, but she read this book and loved it, and I was totally intrigued. So this is all about, how art helps our health. Discover why the arts are the forgotten fifth pillar of our health. So obviously we know diet, sleep and exercise and going out in nature is really good for us. And this talks all about like the scientific proof and reasons that actually art is really, really important for us. So I've not started reading this yet, so I can't tell you what it's going to be like, but I've heard really, really good things. And obviously it's something I truly believe. It is part of my job, so that helps because I do make time for it. But I think it's going to be really, really interesting that arts can be really powerful for... I already knew it was good for my mental health, but I'm really looking forward to trying to encourage more people to create. So this is quite a hefty book. I very rarely buy hardbacks, but I really didn't want to wait for the paperback version. I think that's out in November. This is basically the science behind art. So if you're interested, I'll let you know once I've read this and give maybe a little review in a future vlog, but I really can't wait to read that one. And then finally is this book, which is called How to Look, Draw and Paint by Matthew Rice. Now, I've loved Matthew Rice's work for a long time. Some of you actually compliment my mugs, which, like this one, this is an Emma Bridgewater mug, and Matthew Rice does a lot of the Emma Bridgewater designs. He also has written many popular books and has a really charming, very English style, I would say. And this is his most recent book, which is more of a how-to book. But I'm really looking forward to diving into this and understanding more of his process. Absolutely love the way that he uses watercolour, and there are some step-by-step projects as well as information for like directional light, botanical drawing. There's lots of things about working from photographs and working from life, how to get comfortable with watercolour, and then here are some of the step-by-steps. So really fascinating to see the process, because that's what I love about artists, is understanding, how they get to that end result, which is why I love YouTube so much. But yeah, really fascinating to see his work in this way. And I do love his style. I find it very inspiring. So to have this book to be able to look through, you've got some like chickens, you've got some very full spreads here for garden scenes. From what I've seen of his sort of ethos, it's very much linked to how I see it as well. And it's not super formal. So yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I'm really looking forward to diving into this one as well. So plenty of books to keep me busy this summer, that's for sure. And now onto some of the other bits and pieces here on my desk. So I'm going to start with the bits that I bought myself in France. Now, I love to combine my journaling and my ephemera, especially in my travel journals. So I've got loads of things like this. I did buy quite a few postcards. This was from the Toulouse-Lautrec Museum. This is in Albi, also Gouache, which were some of the places we visited on my art retreat just a few weeks ago. And I love sort of taping that in. I also bought this from one of the antique markets. So one that I've already put into my sketchbook, which I also bought on that same stool, is this one. So you can see I've taped this in. I'm going to put my journaling here, so it's kind of like a hidden spot for journaling. But I really like that, it's very French and it reminds me of our time there. So I picked those up, as well as lots of different ephemera bits like this. So this was from one of the brocants. Now, I bought this completely damaged. I got a really good price for it. I think it was like €2. The cover was already cut, so I don't feel bad at ripping these pages out. I know that's blasphemy for some people, but Like, I love to use this to then paint on top of, and I think it would be so fun to use this as basis for my artwork and, you know, use it as collage and create on top of them. Again, I do have a spread in here where I've already done that, so I can show you an example. Here we go. So I did paint this whilst on the retreat, so you can see how I've used gouache around and some Neocolors just to have the paper showing through, and I did this on the day that I bought that book, so just a really nice fun way to incorporate things like this and more memories of the trip in our sketchbook. So that was very cheap and I think will be really fun. There's so many pages. I gave some to other people as well, but I know it is kind of antique, but I'm going to give it a second life in my sketchbook. I also bought this from one of the brocants we visited in Cast. And this, I have no idea what this is. My French isn't very good, but I did love that there are some chickens in here. So again, maybe I'll cut this one up, or maybe I'll just keep it as is, just as a little memento of our trip. But I just love paper bits and ephemera and things like that. And it's the same for this one as well, which I picked up here. So I'll put some clips on screen because my retreat recap was so long, I didn't put everything that I filmed in there, but you can see the kind of market where I bought this from. So this was from one of the stalls. This was only €1, and this is a theatre book. But what I loved about this one wasn't necessarily that I'll use this for ephemera and tearing it up, but the illustration style. I love this. It's very playful here. And there are some cartoons in here that I really, really like. It inspires me with the line work, the weight of the line and the thickness of that. And then, yeah, the playful characters of their little faces and the personality that comes through. So I think that will be very fun to maybe even do a little study of in my sketchbook, because that's what drew me to this one. So lots of different things in here, but I mostly bought that for those. And such a fun cover too. I really like this colour. So yeah, that was also from the flea market. And that's everything that I bought myself, because I was very kindly gifted quite a lot of things from some of the people who came on my retreat, which was very, very kind of them. Obviously, just them being there was a massive gift in itself, but I was very grateful to receive some lovely bits from them too. I'm going to start with these from Mariana. These are C's candies, which are made in LA. I believe. Very, very fun. You can see I've already eaten many of them. I'll put a picture on screen from how they actually looked when I got them, but I couldn't resist. I can smell them now and they smell incredible. They were delicious and yeah, really fun to have some American chocolates. So these were from C's Candies in San Francisco in California. So really lovely to have those. So thank you so much, Mariana. They have already been devoured and enjoyed, so just a few left for me to look forward to probably tonight. And then Jenny. So Jenny is an incredible quilter. So she's made me two things, including this wonderful little pencil case, which I absolutely love. So pretty, so neat. I'm so impressed with her sewing skills. Look at that sweet little toadstool on the zipper. And then inside are some Royal Talens gouache, so I can't wait to use these. But yeah, it's such a sturdy little pencil case. I want to use this for plein air work, though I never want this to get dirty or beaten up, so maybe it will just be for holding stuff in my studio, because this feels absolutely precious and handmade by Jenny. She's so talented. She also gifted me a 21 by 14.8 art creation sketchbook. Now, you all know that I absolutely adore Royal Talens sketchbooks, but I've never actually tried it in this format. This is a fun new format for me, so it's horizontal and landscape, whereas my go-tos and the ones I fill out the most are these ones. So definitely a fun format for me to try, and I'm very grateful to you, Jenny, for this. She also gave me a very sweet little note, and this, which I was blown away with. This is bigger than A4. This is a big clear pouch, again with a really fun charm here. Handmade by Jenny, it's clear. And look at this on the back. Isn't that incredible? Pretty sure she said this was a Liberty fabric, or maybe this one was, but this really almost made me cry, because the time and the effort that she's put into this with this absolutely gorgeous quote that she has created for me was just so special. And again, I can put so much in here. I think this will be so handy. I've already been using it to cart my stuff around the house. Again, it feels too precious to take outside, but I love that it's see-through, so I can see exactly what's going to be inside. I think it will be helpful for any plein air adventures if I ever want to take it out of the house, but really, really beautiful. So thank you so much, Jenny, for this wonderful gift. Oh, actually, there's one more thing that I did buy myself, which was at the Gouache market, which was this lovely little pouch. Again, I bought this for holding my art supplies. I'm yet to fill it, but it's quite a big pouch. There's plenty of room in there. It's quite deep. And it's also got this sort of wipeable material inside, so I don't have to worry about, you know, my Neocolors staining it or anything like that. Just a really pretty pattern that I really liked. And I do like buying stuff like this from my trips abroad, just to collect them from different places and remember my time there. I got 2 pencils from Beth. Beth, I hope that it's okay. Becca gave me these because Beth was only with us for a few days, but these are magic pencils. They are this one's by Koh-i-Noor and this one's a Super Stick Rainbow by Jolly. So such a fun idea. I can't wait to use these, especially for obviously playing around with line work and really letting that playfulness come through because of the different coloured lead. Really love the colours of this Jolly one, and then this Koh-i-Noor one's completely different because there's a lot more variation in the lead with the red, the yellow and the blue, so very fun. So thank you very much, Beth, for these. Really looking forward to using them in my work, and I feel like it's rare that I have got an art supply I've never tried before, so you hit the jackpot with those. And then lastly, we have the gifts from Robin and her mum. So actually I was wearing it in my recent retreat video, so I'm just going to go grab that so I can show you the beautiful t-shirt that she made for me. Okay, you're going to have to forgive me because I did get this from the washing basket, so it's not ironed, it's quite creased, but I've worn this most days since I got it because it is the softest t-shirt ever, and it means a lot because she has embroidered this on the neckline and I just love it. Robin had one on that she was wearing too, and this says Rêvant d'art, which means dreaming of art, which I'm sure we all do. But such a lovely gift, and so, like I said, really, really soft. I'm sorry it's not in the best conditions, but you saw this on me during my retreat recap video, and it definitely means a lot. So Robin also embroidered this. I complimented theirs so Robin and Melanie, her mum, had one of these, and I remember seeing it on the first day and complimenting them. Little did I know that she'd made one for me as well, which is so kind. So this is like a painting rag. Again, it feels too special to use, but it's embroidered here with a little paint palette and an M for Moody. So really, really kind. Thank you so much, Robin, for personalising this for me. I just have to be brave enough to actually use it. And then this one, which again means so much. So this is like my catchphrase. I don't know if I can call it a catchphrase myself, but I always say, especially in my Patreon calls, to trust the process. I'm sure you've heard it in my YouTube videos as well, but this is like my mantra for art. So we can often want to stop in the messy middle and give up when something's not turning out, but we have to trust the process. So the fact that I now have this as an embroidered patch is really, really special. And I think I'm not going to put this anywhere. I think I'm just going to have this propped up on my desk so I can see it at all times. And the other thing I got was this, which is a Midori notebook, which is what I use for my daily journaling. But this one is a smaller A6 size, I think, but MD paper. So really, really lovely for fountain pen. So I know I can get lots of use out of this with, again, a really beautifully embroidered cover with an M for Moody here, which is so special. So I'm really going to cherish this and use this for some of my notes. So a huge, huge thank you to those lovely ladies for gifting me those things. Like I said, they don't have to. I was blown away that they even thought about the fact of giving me gifts, let alone all of the thought that went into it. So thank you so much, ladies. And yeah, that's the end of the haul. So as always, I spent a long time rambling and sharing all that with you for what was supposed to be a quick little section of the vlog, but I do want to say a massive heartfelt thank you to them. And now I think it's time for another cup of tea and some painting. So I'm going to be painting a little A6 postcard that I mentioned in the intro, and I realised I didn't tell you what it's for. So this is for Secret Wardour, and they've organised a postcard sale to raise money for Wardour Primary School in Wiltshire. They're raising money for an outdoor creative art and musical space, and a dedicated quiet space for children with special educational needs, which is definitely a cause close to my heart. There are 500 postcard-sized artworks from a huge array of different artists, and they are all sold for a flat £50 each, with the signatures and artist names hidden on the reverse, so all very fun and secret and a really lovely way to raise money for such a special cause. Now I am filming this, so I don't know if this makes it completely not secret now, but I am painting this with my Holbein gouache, inspired by a spread in my sketchbook that I filled last year. And actually it's one that I live streamed, so it's from last summer when I painted a mountain scene with you all. If you want to paint along with this one and see my original painting, then you can find that on the live tab on my channel. But I always find it helpful for me when I am doing an original painting or something for someone else to base it off something I know works. So you might feel the same when you're creating something for someone and feeling that pressure. It's totally okay to revisit some of the content that you already know works, the landscapes that you've painted before and loved, and recreate them. I think that is totally fine and very valid. So that's what I'm doing here. The paper was really nice, it was proper watercolour paper, but I am using gouache on top. It just meant I could be as wet or as thick as I needed to with it, which was helpful for me because I do like to emphasise the texture. I do add water to my gouache, and I do like things to be super textured and really quite loose when I smush around my paintbrush onto the page. I listed the main shades at the beginning so you could see which ones I'm using here, and I will take a note of it, and I've added that as little notes on screen. But it was a really lovely image. I really enjoyed painting this one. Feels very calm, very enjoyable to paint, and I really like how fresh this one is. The colours feel very summery and bright, and as always I do like to add pops of colour, so this time I added in some pink, some Naples yellow, and later on you'll see I add in a turquoise lake and some turquoise and pink colour pops with my Neocolors. I just use the one round brush. I find that they're really helpful because I can get a fine point with them but still use the main bulk of the bristles for all that texture. So I hope you enjoy watching this one. I'm going to stop talking now and just let the painting speak for itself whilst I put on some music. So I hope you enjoyed watching that little painting process. It's all done now, so I just need to put it into the envelope and send that off. So you'll have seen I also had the Uptrek meeting, which was really, really exciting because It won't be long now, I think the next couple of weeks, where I'll be able to launch my 2027 retreat, which I'm really looking forward to. So keep your eyes peeled and hopefully some of you can join me there. I hope you enjoyed the haul, lots of lovely gifts there, really grateful for those, and I'm really looking forward to diving into these books as well. They sound really interesting. So a big thank you for watching and coming with me during my day in the life as a full-time sketchbook artist. I still have quite a lot of admin to do, but it will be nice to do my walk, and then I usually end up answering messages and things in the evening. So let me know what you thought of the video down below. I love chatting to you in the comments, and a huge shout out to my patrons as well. Without them I wouldn't be able to make free YouTube videos like this. So I hope you have a creative week ahead, and I will see you next Sunday in my new YouTube video. See you later!